Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth tore into Tucker Carlson following his ridiculous monologue questioning her patriotism to the United States or her love for the country. Now, keep in mind that Senator Duckworth did serve in Iraq. She is a Purple Heart recipient, and she lost both her legs when she was deployed in Iraq. On the other hand, you have Tucker Carlson, who is an heir, never had to deploy anywhere, and is a privileged, ignorant person who loves to do fascistic segments on his show. Here's an example of one of them.
Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois is a top contender for the job. You're not supposed to criticize Tammy Duckworth in any way because she once served in the military. Most people just ignore her. But when Duckworth does speak in public, you're reminded what a deeply silly and unimpressive person she is. Here's Tammy Duckworth from over the weekend telling us it's time to get rid of George Washington.
I know that you support changing the name of military bases named after Confederate leaders, but there are leaders like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson who were slave owners, and some people are demanding that their monuments come down too. So in your view, where does it end? Should statues, for example, of George Washington come down?
Well, let me just say that we should start off by having a national dialogue on it at some point.
A national dialogue, please. They're not looking for any kind of a colloquy. What they want is a soliloquy. We speak, you shut up and listen. So what to make of all of this? Well, it's long been considered out of bounds to question a person's patriotism. It's a very strong charge, and we try not ever to make it. But in the face of all of this, the conclusion can't be avoided. These people actually hate America. There's no longer a question about that. And yet, paradoxically, at the same time, they desperately want to control America more than anything. And that leads to the most basic of all questions. Can you really lead a country that you hate?
Okay, important context of the story is that recently there have been some reports indicating that Joe Biden is considering Senator Duckworth as a running mate, which is exactly why Tucker Carlson felt the need to attack her like this. In response to that disgusting segment, she tweeted, "Does Tucker Carlson want to walk a mile in my legs and then tell me whether or not I love America?" And of course, she's referencing the fact that she served in the military and that she lost her legs when she was deployed in Iraq. It's just incredible. Like, Tucker Carlson has no shame at all.
Yeah, well, no, there's actually another reason why he went after Tammy Duckworth, because he's smart enough to understand that trolling works. It works spectacularly for Donald Trump. And he knows that if you go after Tammy Duckworth's patriotism when she lost 2 legs for this country, people will not be able to resist talking about Tucker Carlson, thereby giving him further name recognition. And we did the story the other day about how he's thinking of running for president in 2024. If you're going to do that, you would do the things that Tucker is doing right now. That hateful speech that Trump gave during the 4th of July weekend that was panned by everyone, Tucker Carlson said it was maybe the best speech he's ever given. Why? Red meat, racism, defending Confederates. It was all there for him. Attacking Black Lives Matter, all the things that Tucker Carlson uses to gain popularity with his racist populist base. And so now everybody's talking about Tucker. Can you believe that he went after Tammy Duckworth and said that she hates America when she nearly lost her life for this country? You can't resist but talk about that, and Tucker knows that. And that's why he does it. And we've got to break out of this way of thinking like, oh, we think it's atrocious, so we're pointing out to people that it's atrocious. But for Tucker, that's nothing but good news for him because his base is atrocious. He gets more ratings, and he's more likely to win if he runs in a Republican election if we keep telling people how hateful he is. That's not the bug. That's the feature for Republican voters, and Tucker Carlson is savvy enough to know that. By the way, I have to jump in, Cenk. She never said, "Let's get rid of George Washington." Yes. No, she said. By the way, he cut the interview. Like, we didn't hear the rest of her answer. It was just, "We should start a national dialogue," which is very different from what he alleged. She said that she just wants to get rid of George Washington. But guess what? Our history is complicated. It's nuanced.
the people who we've learned about in our very selectively edited history books doesn't give you the full scope of who these people were and what they did when they were in positions of power in American history. So that dialogue is actually incredibly important. That's not the same as, oh, she wants to get rid of George Washington. She hates America.
No. Tucker Carlson is super dangerous because he's not nearly as stupid as the other Republicans. For a while, people talked about whether Sean Hannity would run for president. How about it, Hoss? That guy's an idiot. But Tucker's dangerous. So look at what he did there. He knows that she said national dialogue. She didn't say, let's get rid of George Washington. He put words in her mouth. He lied about her on purpose. And he knows that George Washington owned slaves, and that's why it would be an interesting dialogue. Hey, here's a guy who helped form the country, refused to be king, and had wonderful attributes. He also had terrible attributes because he owned slaves. That is a legitimate, super interesting intellectual conversation. Tucker knows that, but he turns it into demagoguery instead and saying, if you want to have that interesting conversation, you hate America. And don't worry, though, Americans. I, Tucker Carlson, will protect you from these America-hating people. And so that's why he's the most popular show on Fox News, because he's the one who wraps up that same fear and hatred with the most sophistication and makes people feel better and intellectually superior, which is hilarious, as they do their form of racism and bigotry towards all others. When you sign up for a spend and save account at aspiration.com/TYT, we will plant 10 trees. Let's save the planet together.